Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm pumped about this one, y'all. That's what's up. I'm gonna give it a quick second. Today we're going to be talking about your managing your health, most specifically your physical health, while also talking about elements of prison reform. I'm super pumped to be able to join and have this conversation. My boy Coss is going to be on this one. You guys know Coss. Y'all have seen him from Con Body. If you're not following Coss or you haven't started following Con Body, you definitely want to follow him after this conversation. It looks like Coss has already begun to join, so I'm not going to hold this conversation up anymore. Coss is going to join us in a second. Then I hope that you guys are ready to ask questions. I hope that y'all are ready to get all up in his business. This is going to be a good one, and I absolutely love. Yo, there he is.
What's up, bro? How's it going, man?
What's good, bro? How are you?
I'm actually recovering from eye surgery, so today's the first day I get to see anything on my phone.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Eye surgery? Tell me more.
Nah. Do the 2020. It's like PRK. It's a little bit more crazier than LASIK. So I was like blind for like 3 days. So today's like the first day I'm like staring at screens. I got like thousands of messages I'm trying to catch up on, but
wow.
Glad I can see, you know. It's crazy.
Yo, I'm glad that you're back, man.
Grateful for my eyes and my freedom, for sure.
That's an interesting way to start this conversation. I'm grateful for my eyes and my freedom.
Word.
Nah,
Word.
man. Thank you for joining us, man, for this edition of Market Sags. Like we so you guys that again before the call jumped on, I was telling you, you definitely got to go follow Con Body. Learn a little bit about Coss's journey. The entire Con Body team is amazing. What you guys are doing up in New York is incredible, and I'm gonna get you to talk about that in a quick second. But before we jump in, this month is Men's Health Month, and we wanted to bring you on as a part of the conversation because who else knows more about maintaining your health than someone who trains people literally every day to be able to help them maintain theirs. I won't steal your thunder though. Can you take a quick second and tell me a little bit about Con Body?
Yeah. No, so yeah, thanks for having me here. But Con Body is we call it a prison style workout where we have people who've been formerly incarcerated train people in the public that want to be trained by people that's been in the system. It's an all body weight, no equipment, straight calisthenics, nonstop. It's not a basic HIIT workout. It's like how we worked out inside, and we just push you to the next level. And a lot of people are like frightened and discouraged about it, but like my mom is 67 years old and she does this thing 4 times a week. You know what I mean? So it's basically just trying to push yourself to the next limit and not limiting yourself to what you really can't, you know, your mind could, you know what I mean? So yeah.
I know this because, you know, just I know a little bit about you, Coss, man, but I know the answer to this question I was going to say, but you did time in prison.
Yeah. So I did a total of 6 years. But I did a year when I was in juvie, a year as an adult, and then my last term I did 4 years. So I was in and out, arrested 9 times for petty marijuana crimes and stuff like that. And then last time was, you know, a big cocaine operation that I was running.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you know what I think was also interesting, if you guys don't know, so I had my episode of I Was A Teenage Felon just dropped last week on Vice, so if you haven't checked it out, please go check out this episode of I Was A Teenage Felon.
They for that shit now?
Say it again?
They charging to see it?
It's crazy now, right? Like, yo, they charging to see it now. Vice is like, yo, they try to catch their bag. They, you know, Netflix, Hulu money.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I need to start getting paid for this shit.
Word, right? We need to see some royalties on this.
Yeah,
but because you had an episode on season 1, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, were you season 1, episode 1?
Yeah, the first episode on it. First episode.
Yeah. Yo, y'all gotta go watch Coss's episode. I tell you that again. Here's the cheat code, right? Coss was running this incredible major cocaine ring out in New York, and it's interesting how he was running his drug operation out there, right? I think it's so fascinating. Coss, before I get in, because this is I got to give my community background. give me the short version of, not the short version, give me the cost version of like, so what happened, right? Like, you were a teenage felon. You got locked up when you were young too.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened.
No, so that whole experience was crazy. I mean, I got incarcerated for running one of the largest drug delivery services in New York City. So back in the day, everybody stood on a corner. You know what I mean? Like it was that's what you did. You stood on a corner to sell drugs. Everybody had their block. People had their beepers. You went, you know, you deliver your stuff. But at the time, the neighborhood was it was the first time the neighborhood got gentrified. You know, everybody hears about Williamsburg, or Williamsburg sports city, and I changed the way we sold drugs. Made it a delivery service, and so we made out 10,000 cards. We spread it out to every person that we thought was using coke at the time, and we marked up the price. You know, we were selling $20 bags, and we started selling $100 grams. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Your volume went out for a quick second. Now, this is important because people need to get this. Your volume went out, cut out for a quick second.
Yeah.
So you were in Williamsburg. Like,
no, this is Williamsburg before Williamsburg. So basically,
because I was say because Williamsburg now is like different.
No, I'm born and raised on the Lower East Side, which is across the bridge. You know, from Williamsburg. I got my dog in the back. This nigga's wild. But my neighborhood was the first neighborhood that got really gentrified in all of New York City. So it was primarily Hispanic, Black neighborhood, Asia. Well, I'm like in the border town of like Chinatown, but a lot of white people started moving into the neighborhood. So I marked up my prices from, you know, back in the day we used to sell $20 bags on a corner. Now we're selling $100 grams. And we started this whole delivery service, and we made business cards. We started delivering it, and it blew up. I mean, at one point, you know, we were generating about $5 million in revenue a year.
That's crazy.
It was just a crazy operation. I mean, just go check out the Vice. They did a good documentation of like the whole breakdown and how I started it. It was crazy because that whole thing, when they started recording it, that happened like 4 years ago when they started recording it. So I had no idea it was gonna ever come out. And then it came out like last year, and everybody's like, "Yo, what happened to your boy?" Blah blah blah. And actually, my boy, that, you know, he was basically my co-D at the time, my business partner at the time, and he's home. He's doing well. He started his own business. So shout out to Joey. But yeah,
shout out to Joey.
Yeah.
So one of the things, and we're gonna get, I promise you guys, we're gonna get into the reason why we haven't Coss on. We're gonna talk a little bit about help, but I think this is important, right? Because one of the messages that I want to be able to get out to a lot of our Flick Shop users, you know, we have thousands of people who leverage our platform. Some of them will join us live. Some of them will watch this video on YouTube. Some of them, they'll see it in our one of our weekly emails that we distribute out. But the question that they're all asking is, can my son or can my daughter, can my husband or my wife that's sitting in those cells, can my brother or my sister, can my best friend come home and be another Coss, right? Like there's obviously a challenge to coming home after prison. And then there's a layer over top of that where you decided to like pursue this entrepreneurial journey, right? Which I can't even imagine how challenging that is, especially somebody like you who has a brick and mortar where people come into your facility and come work out. Now, I know you've evolved and you continue to grow your business in incredible ways, but what do you say to those family members that have a loved one that's still incarcerated right now that need to be able, they just ask you that question, can my loved one do it too?
I'm not gonna say they could do it too. You know what I mean? And you've been through it too. Like, you came home and started your business. Even if you're not home starting your business, like, starting a business is almost impossible. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of
graduating from Harvard Business School and starting a business, it's almost impossible.
You're batting 300. You're making it. You know what I mean? It's definitely like baseball, but I mean, you just have to have the grit for it. You know what I mean? Like, there's just been so many ups and downs and trials and tribulations and loss of money, almost, you know, a whole bunch of stuff. And I could go on with stories, but yeah, I'm not going to promise any loved one that has somebody that's incarcerated that it's, you know, you can't do it. You could definitely do it. You just got to be that person that's going to go through the grit. You know what I mean? And be ready for the struggle. You know what I mean? Prison time is hard, but also running a company is hard. You know what I mean? So
That part.
tenacity and it's and I mean it's possible. You know what I mean? Like if you want to put your mind into it, you want to put the work into it, and you get ready to fail, get ready for the wins. You know what I mean? And you're gonna have a lot of more failures than wins. But yes, just keep distracting me.
Boy, you ain't never lying. So look, let me. So how did you do it? Like, what was the thing that got you from? And I'm not talking about like the success that you're receiving right now, right? You guys got to follow Coss if you don't already to see how the amazing things he's doing. And we're not even talking about his personal successes. I mean, I ain't even get to the point like the fact that like literally you just got married, I mean, you got a family that you're building right now.
Yeah.
I see the cute dog in the background. You know what I mean? Like it's really your brother. You know what I mean? Success. You got some personal successes too.
Yeah.
But like, what was the trigger that got you? Like, how did you go from 0 to 1? It looks like my sound cut out one more time, Coss. You wanna? There it is.
You hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been a crazy experience, and I think how I did. I mean, I definitely got a lot of support and used and abused the whole network. You know, I also got involved with Defy Ventures early on. So Defy Ventures is a nonprofit that helps formerly incarcerated people start their own businesses. So when they really first started doing their program, I was one of their first groups. I got involved very early on with that organization, and they helped me build my business plan and also helped me build my network. And I can't, you know, so grateful for what they've done because they connected me with mentors that I like literally, you know, held them accountable for their time. Because every time I told them I was going to be there, you know, to meet them, they were going to teach me Excel. They were going to teach me how to write an email, you know, and I took there, and I was very grateful for these people that have these blocking the call. But yeah, no, it's been a journey, but I also like am grateful for the people that have been in my network that I've been like using, and then also like just dealing with the downs. You know what I mean? There's been times that I want to give up and be like, yo, this is way too hard. I'm done. You know what I mean? And then I get signs of hopes when I hear people on my team who've been formerly incarcerated have done a lot of time that tell me like, yo, I'm so grateful. I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't because of you. You know what I mean? And that all that just like inspires me to keep going. You know what I mean? So the good part always trumps the bad, but is not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate enough to, you know, now like be okay. You know what I mean? Like I'm building a family. My wife is pregnant. I got a little puppy. My son is 14. And I'm employing a whole bunch of people, you know what I mean, that doing well for themselves as well. So
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. Tell me, when I think about like the building a new family, building a career, building a new lifestyle for yourself after prison, a lot of it comes from, you know, the hard work, the audacity, the tenacity, the audaciousness to go out and continue to keep pushing, even with, you know what I mean, slam doors in your face. Like all of those things ring true for me. But I would love to hear like how has incarceration impacted your outlook on how you're doing all of this, or has it?
absolutely. I mean, it teaches you how to move. You know, I feel like when I was incarcerated, and I was incarcerated a lot of times, but you start I don't know, for us that grew up in certain circumstances, and you know where to move and you know where not to move. When you go out to the prison yard, you know what basketball courts to join, or you know what handball courts to be, what side is what side. And you got to be ready to read that. You know what I mean? You got to be able to trust your gut. And so I think things like that really helped me. And there's a whole bunch of transferable skills from the streets that, I mean, for me, it's just like, if you don't ask, you don't eat. Like, I just kept on asking, kept on not being ashamed. And it's embarrassing when you first start asking for stuff, especially when you start a conversation and you want. And if you're building a nonprofit, that's a whole nother monster. But I'm running a for-profit, but I still got to raise money. I still got to, ask people to come. I still got to sell my product. So it's embarrassing to open up that time, but it's also a risk, and it's an educated risk. I took that chance, and it's paying off. There's a lot of support. There's a lot of opportunities and open doors now, you know what I mean, that I would not have gotten if I didn't open up my mouth. And I learned that from the streets. I mean, the streets, I was just hustling, going up to people and just screaming out cocaine on the street. if you watch the Vice, you could see some of that story. But yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy journey.
Yeah, y'all definitely got to go watch the Vice, man. Like, the first time I heard Coss's story and him talking about the journey that they took, you know what I mean? Like, one, yeah, I'm like, yo, Coss been getting to the money. That's one. This ain't new for Coss, you know what I mean? But then two, like, I think this is something interesting to show, like, there's a transferable skill set. And one of the things that I think that you do a great job of, and now I'm gonna pivot into like one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you to join us today. You built a brand around you, like, working out in prison. And if I remember the story correctly, Coss, like, you talk about why it became important for you to start maintaining your own health while you were in prison.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when we were in the streets, all we were eating was fast food, pizza, hamburgers. We had the munchies, smoking, and when you're hanging out in the street, you don't really go to a doctor. You don't get checked up. You know what I mean? You don't see anybody. You just keep living your life. And so when I first got locked up, well, the last time I got locked up, I saw a doctor for the first time. You go into the prison system, you become a number, you get the blood taken, and that's the first thing you actually do when you get locked up. They change your clothes, they give you a shower, they make you put all this stuff on, and then you lining up to see the doctor. They're taking your blood, they're giving you some shots. You don't even know what's going on, but you line it up and you just move in order. And so that goes down, and then a couple weeks later, while I was incarcerated, they called me down to the medical unit, and the physician there, she says, like, hey, your cholesterol is like super high. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It was like, yo, you're in very dangerous levels. Like, if you don't start eating correctly or start exercising, you could catch a heart attack within 5 years.
Yo,
I was like, nah, I'm 24 years old. I'm like, I'm not gonna die. And so I'm like denying it a little bit. And she's like, yeah, we're going to place you on medication and a special diet and all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go back to my cell and I start contemplating. And I'm like, shit, like, I'm only 24 years old and like I'm facing all these fucking, excuse my language, problems. Like, and so I quickly like just started doing push-ups and started doing dips and started, moving around in my cell. And I really couldn't work out. I think I did like 20, tried to do like 20 push-ups and like passed out of my bed. And I was like, all right, I'm chilling. Like, I'm not doing none of this. And I remember they called the next day, and I remember vividly, they called rec, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to go out. And so I went out to the yard, and they give you these like cheap sneakers, and I went out there and ran with my greens, and started, and I tried to run. I couldn't even do a lap. I was running from one pole in the yard to the next, and then walking, then running, then walking. And people were making fun of me, after a while, but I just kept doing it. you know, and I just knew, I was like, my health is number one. I can't die in this place, you know.
You know, I love this story because one, it just shows like, yo, again, like your tenacity, your like you like, nah, I will not lose, even in health.
Yep.
What do you what so I mean I have two questions around this, right? And I'm specifically thinking about like for men, because it's men's health month, right? Most of us do a horrible job of maintaining our health, whether it's our mental health, but especially our physical health. I mean, even I know myself, right? Like, I know I eat horribly at nighttime, or I know, you know, when I shouldn't be eating as many carbs or as much sugar as I do, and I consume it all. And one of the questions I have is like, how what do you say to someone like me who struggles with eating healthy, especially I'm turning 40 this year, right? Like this is major for me, and I know I should be conscious of it, but what do you say to someone like me?
Just moderations, man. Like when I was in prison, I was in a way more stricter diet. I was not eating any carbs. I was just like eating Jack Mac and tuna, you know what I mean, straight off the can. But now I keep myself in moderations. And then I have a different relationship with food. You know what I mean? Once you have a negative thought, like, hey, I can't eat this, you know, body these chemicals, and you start reacting, and you become unhealthy about it. But if you have, you know, if you see a Reese's peanut butter cup, you know what I mean? I'm a big Reese's. I like chocolate and peanut butter, you know what I mean? But I'll get the little ones, you know what I mean? I'll get the little ones, you know, I'll get the mini packs, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna have one or two, and then that's it, you know what I mean? So just getting that craving off. I mean, don't deny yourself anything. That's just my mentality. And for those people that like, hey, I don't know what to eat, or this and that, you know what I mean? I'm like, you know what to eat. Like, yo, put the pizza down, pick up a chicken salad, you know what I mean? Make more thoughtful decisions. And especially like as we get older, our metabolism starts slowing down. You know what I mean? Things don't break down the same way, you know what I mean? So it's just we gotta be careful. We got one life, man. And that's why, like, you know, I did my eyes, like, because I was like, all right, my New Year resolution, this year, in the beginning of the year, I was like, I'm gonna take care of all my teeth. You know, next year I was gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna take care of my eyes. That's gonna be my New Year resolution. And then I was like, you know what? I got time right now. I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? So I did my eyes. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to just like your lifestyle. I do my 6 month checkup every time. You know what I mean? So I just make sure like I'm number one, because if I'm not living, then I can't take care of nobody else. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people counting on me.
Yeah, nah, no doubt. Take us inside of the combat gym.
Yeah.
I believe that you actually have virtual classes now. Am I correct?
So we run simultaneously. So at the same time, people are in the studio. We're running classes live streaming on the Zoom. And so so if you sign up virtually, you automatically get like a link 5 minutes before class, and you could just zoom in. And so we have this set up. We have 4K cameras in there. You actually listening to the same music, bumping at home, you know, while we're bumping in the studio. So it's a beautiful experience.
Oh, this is dope.
Yeah, and it's great because, you know, we have the same product that you're gonna get in the studio, you're probably gonna get at home, except for like the atmosphere of like the dark room, the lights and all that stuff. But since we don't use any equipment and it's all body weight, I mean, you're gonna get the same product, and so people are loving it. I mean, it's been an incredible pivot for us during the pandemic. You know what I mean? Like, soon as they told us we have to close down, I turned on the computer. It took me 20 minutes to pivot. You know,
Wow.
I didn't waste any time.
I think that was like one of the best bars of this live right here. It took me 20 minutes to pivot. I think again, I mean, real talk. I mean, I think it just talks about like the ingenuity of folks, right? And like not resting on your laurels. Because most folks would be like, all right, well, we're gonna shut down and see how this pandemic going to shift. But you did something different in saying like, yo, look, how can I learn how to do this thing? People are taking advantage of home, people are working out at home. And the dope part about Combat is that I don't need any equipment. There's nothing but me and my body weight. So, and people don't realize, like, doing push-ups, jumping rope, doing jumping jacks, doing squats, like using your own body weight, like you're building the muscles that kind of stay with you.
Yep. Calisthenics stays with you way longer than just, getting that pump on and just lifting a couple weights. You know what I mean? So
I think that's so interesting what you guys are doing over there. Where are
yeah.
your locations?
So we're in the Lower East Side. So we had a location in London pre-pandemic. We shut it down, and then we were like, yeah, let's just keep. I live right down the block from the studio, so we just kept the Lower East Side location, and that's it.
That's just dope, man. Congratulations on all your success. I'll say it again.
I said, hopefully we bring it to DC one day. So that's
bruh. Right outside my window, man. It's a space right here, the retail space right outside my office that, like, folks would love Combat. We should figure out how to bring you guys down to DC.
I mean, that's my goal. I want to open up as many Combat studios eventually, be like the next CrossFit and employ as many people coming out of the prison system as possible. So that's my goal. I know it's going to get there.
Killing it. So tell me, and I want to get, before I let you go, tell me why Combat? Like, why did you name it Combat? Why is it a prison boot camp style workout? I mean, we know obviously you experienced success because, you were a little bit heavier, you had some health conditions, and you were able to have success in your own life, right? But why that? And why not just go get a job as a trainer at some other gym?
So I was doing this on the side, and that's for people that are still locked up and they're thinking about, like, starting a business. I mean, I recommend trying to get a job, trying to get any type of side hustle and do your side business. And so that's how I started. I knew I wanted to do this when I was locked up. I already had my mindset. I wanted to start Combat, but I had a different side. I was cleaning toilets. I was, my boy was calling me to move a truck or load a truck or do some moving stuff. Like, I was there. Like, I took advantage of any type of side hustle I can, because I knew when I was in the park, there was people that told me that they were going to show up and pay me, and they never showed up and paid me. You know what I mean? But I needed some money to live on. I was living on my mom's couch at the time when I came home, and she was charging me rent for that. So I had to live. I had my baby moms at the time, so the world keeps moving and I had to make some money. But the Combat name, basically I started off with, like, prison style boot camp, and I felt like it was too long. And then I thought about, let me do Confit. And then they had that, the brand Confit, which is like the food brand. But shout out to Confit. There's another Confit in Australia. They're trying to do the same thing as Combat. Shout out to them, because I support anybody that's formerly incarcerated, doing any type of stuff. I don't care if you copy me or you do what I do. Like, just don't copy my name, but just do what you're doing. I support y'all, man, because it's a struggle out there, and if you could do it, bro. Like, I feel like there's enough for everybody out there, so I don't hate.
Yo, I love that, right? And as we move toward closing out, right, one of the things that I think it took me a long time to learn, right, was that, Marcus, you don't have to compete with other folks. You don't have to. This is not a competition. Like, now I'm in a place now, I'm like, I want all of us to win. I want even the people who have business models that are similar to mine. I want us all to win, because one, it's enough for all of us to win, right? First of all. And then secondly, like, what I've learned in seeing big businesses grow, and this is why I had to mature, was that collaborations are stronger than competition, right? And when I learned that collaborating could potentially make both of us bigger, because again, it's so much out here for all of us. Like, success is not finite, right? We create success, right? It's not, like, a certain amount of success and then that's it. Nobody else gets it, right? And so it took me a while to learn that. So I'm grateful to hear you point that out. Like, you dropping jewels tonight, man. So before I let you go, like, it seems to me that having a high quality of life, right? One, maintaining your physical health. I'm listening to you talk about how you maintain your mental health. You walked into this conversation talking about running this, that kind of stuff. Like, all that stuff was like you walked into it with that. My question is, moving forward from your physical health and your mental health, how do you maintain the rest of your life? Like, how do you keep it all in check? How do you keep the family structure? How do you keep it all going?
I set times, you know what I mean? I also follow my calendar to the T. Like if it's on my calendar, I'm doing it. You know, I also know like after 6, I'm like with my family. You could call me if there's an emergency or whatever, but at 9 o'clock, I'm in bed. You know, so if you try to hit me up, I'm like I'm knocked out. But I wake up at like 5, 6 in the morning every day, and I just get up and I do the work. You know, so I'll work from like. Yeah, some people call me crazy, but I like answer a whole bunch of messages at 6 in the morning, and then like I'm answering messages and doing a whole bunch of work till like 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, afternoon, unless I have another event or whatever. But for the most part, I try to keep that work-life balance as much as possible, and it's hard. You know, there's a whole bunch of people pulling you in directions. There's a whole bunch of opportunities that everyone wants to do this left and right. But, I try to make time as much as possible for everybody, but make sure I like, keep family number one because they're going to be there. You know what I mean? My wife is going to, provide when I'm older, you know what I mean? I got my kid, you know what I mean? They're going to help me when I'm older. So I just got to think about that. Plus I love spending time with my family, you know what I mean? And just making sure, and then just sleeping. I make sure I sleep like 8, 9 hours every day. Like I don't mess around with that. You know, that's number one. I don't let nothing affect me, and I also like use the serenity prayer as much as possible. You know, which says, "God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." And so, like, if something happens and I don't see it or I can't control it, I just try to like use that prayer to like put myself in that place where I'm like, I have no control over it. If I could do something, like let me know. If not, then I move and figure something else out. But that's the mindset I keep on.
Nah, man, I love it. I love it. What do you got? What's up next for you?
So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I have a documentary coming out soon, which is gonna be pretty crazy next year. So I can't talk much about it, but it's
we was trying to tease it out you.
yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I mean I signed NDAs and all that stuff, but it's gonna be big, so I'm very excited for that in the beginning of the year. And then we just landed a contract with Rikers Island, so we're gonna be training inmates inside. Another contract with like ACS, which is like Children's Services in New York. So we're going to be helping the kids. So just lining up different city contracts, doing the youth, doing the adults, doing juvenile systems, trying to create a pipeline from the inside out as well.
Nah, this is dope. This is dope. Man, look, thank you so much for coming in and joining us for this version of Marcus Says. You guys heard Coss talk about a ton of things. He led with talking about how to maintain your mental health when you're starting a business, right? It's not going to be easy, and everybody's probably not going to have the same success that he has, right? But he gave some raw things that you can work on doing, and one of the biggest ones that I heard was being audacious enough to go out and keep doing it every single day. So that's one of the things that I heard from Coss. One of the other things I'm excited about listening to his story is that most people who have the fabric of the hustle, they still got it in the other side. So Coss talked about how he built $1 million organization in the streets. And then, although it wasn't challenged, you never heard Coss talk about how he came home and just jumped into this other $1 million company. He talked about coming home, having side hustles, loading up trucks, grinding hard, getting a job, working with other trainers, trying to figure out what it's going to look like. He didn't even know the name of his company. This wasn't something that he was saying that he was going to do the entire time he was in prison and had a name written all out, building out logos, all that kind of stuff. He genuinely, authentically wanted to be able to build something by helping other people. And he was learning and leveraging the skills he learned while he was in prison, trying to help himself, which is super dope. It's like the best level of selflessness when you can learn how to do something and become an expert at it and then support someone else in their journey. The last thing I heard Coss talk about was the importance of family, how he's keeping family first and how he's prioritizing his life. I love that you live by your calendar. I swear by my calendar. If it ain't in my calendar, it don't exist.
Yeah.
But, right, like learning how to manage all of that, because life comes at you fast. And for all of our men that are watching, you have to maintain your physical health, right? Coss talked about him being a little young and at 23, 24 years old with the potential of having a heart attack in prison. Like, that's major, right? And so as we think about managing our own mental health, managing our own physical health, it's important to be able to pay attention to the signs. Coss seen some of the signs. He ended up in the nurse's room. They told him he had to make a change. He started doing push-ups. What changes are you making in your life? Yo, Coss, thank you so much, man, for coming and enjoying us. Join us for another edition of Market Says. You know I'm gonna hit you up about this whole building out combat here in DC. I can't believe that you even alluded to that. We got a couple of people that I know that need to connect with you about trying to figure out how to build this into it. Have you ever thought about business as a franchise model?
Absolutely. I mean, that's my dream. That's what I want to do. So.
Dude, you on to something with this. I've seen, y'all got to follow Combat and follow Coss specifically. I've seen Combat host workout programs in the parks, on beaches, in other countries, right? Like, and it's always a ton of sweat, a ton of laughs and smiles after the workout. So it must be doing something really weird. Must be doing something that's working. Coss, thanks again, man. I'll give you the last word to give to our guests.
Thank you, Marcus, and I appreciate the work you're doing with Flick Shop. I mean, there's the whole trend of, I don't know if you saw, but the whole trend on BuzzFeed about people paying so much money on the phone and seeing the phone bills for loved ones and communicating inside. I feel like that's extremely important, and that's something that's been happening for years, and people are just finding out about it now. So we really need to educate about the work that you're doing, that I'm doing. So, you know, I appreciate you putting this platform together. And if you better start working out with us, do the time. You already know.
Y'all already know. All right, y'all. See y'all for the next episode of Market Says. Have an incredible holiday season. Coss, man, congratulations on everything, bro. Like, yo, I'm so excited for you, man. I couldn't wait to text you and tell you congratulations when I seen the wedding pictures, man. You and your wife looked amazing. Shout out to the new family.
Thank you.
I look to see amazing things from you in 2022. Y'all go check out this episode of Vice 2 Hours of Teenage Felon.
All right, bro.
All right, bro. See you soon.